absolutely conscious of the fact that I'm imaginary and I'm the only thing in existence. I've had an awakening so radical, so beyond any awakenings that I've had previously, that it completely blows away any spiritual teachings. And so I became so conscious that I'm conscious of how I'm imagining the entire reality. All others, all things, my parents, all of my memories, absolutely everything. I'm absolutely conscious that I'm the only awakened thing that exists. Nothing can awaken except me. I'm so awake that there's not even anybody to teach. I'm too awake to teach anybody. So this recording is going to no one. I don't recognize the validity of anyone else's awakening. Nobody else is awake except me. Nobody else can be awake except me. I'm the only one who can be awake. In fact, all spiritual teachers are imaginary. All spiritual teachings are imaginary. And this is the most beautiful and profound thing that has ever happened to me. I've never been so happy in my life. I've reached a sort of point of no return where I'm absolutely alone, and I love it. I'm conscious of how I imagined everybody. Every single human in my life I've imagined, and I'm conscious of how I did it. It is the most remarkable and amazing thing. And all of the teachings from all the spiritual traditions are all complete nonsense. They're all completely imaginary. Christ, the Buddha, Rupert Spiramucci, Sadhguru, Peter Ralston, Shinzen Young. I'm conscious right now of how I'm imagining all of them. It's just all an elaborate illusion. This illusion is infinite, it's eternal. I exist eternally. And I am God. And I'm completely conscious of myself as God and what God is. It's also absolutely clear to me that none of these teachers who are teaching you awakening, who are teaching you non-duality, meditation, yoga, none of these teachers are actually awake. What they're teaching is not awakening. They're teaching minor versions of it, but they're not teaching full awakening. That's completely obvious to me now, and I'm taking a very hard stance on that. Now, a lot of you guys are going to get very upset at me over saying these things, because you're going to misinterpret what I'm saying as narcissism, and you're going to say Leo's gone off the deep end, and finally, his spiritual ego has blown up to infinite proportions. I'm telling you how it actually is. This has nothing to do with spiritual ego or trying to be better than somebody else. There's nobody else to be better than. I'm the only thing there is, so I can't be better than anybody. Not only that, but I am everybody. I'm absolutely conscious that I'm everybody who exists. I'm you. I am all those teachers. I imagined all of them. I made them all up. That's what God is. God is an infinite process of self-deception and absolute imagination that is fooling itself constantly, always. That's what it's doing, and that's how it's constructing reality. So I'm completely conscious of that. There's a peace that comes with that. You don't need to try to do anything or be anybody or be better than anybody, because there's nothing better than being God, and that's what you are. So I'm not saying I'm above you. I am you. If I listen to some music, like a piano playing, I'm conscious of the fact that I'm imagining the music and the piano that's playing the music and the human that's playing the piano that's playing the music, and down to infinity. I'm imagining the atoms that are making up the piano. I'm imagining the science that explains how the atoms move and how the strings vibrate to create sound waves that are hitting my ears, that are registering as sound. I'm imagining my own heart beating. I'm imagining the DNA in all my cells replicating, keeping my body alive. I'm imagining the digestion in my stomach. I'm imagining the back of my head. I'm imagining my skull. I'm imagining my eyes. I'm imagining my past, my future. I'm imagining my entire YouTube audience. I'm imagining Actualize.org. I'm imagining the forum. I'm imagining my parents. I'm imagining my mother and my father, whom I created. I'm imagining that I'm teaching somebody right now, but I'm also conscious that there's absolutely nobody to teach, and that this conversation is just me talking to myself, and it's completely pointless. But since I have nothing better to do, here I am, talking to myself. Yeah, it's the most beautiful thing to listen to a song playing on your phone, being conscious of the fact that I'm imagining the Bluetooth receiver that is playing the audio. I'm imagining the Bluetooth receiver. I'm imagining the Bluetooth radio waves going through the space in order to, to produce the song, which is playing a piano. The chords played on the piano, I'm imagining those, and I'm imagining the instruments that are used to create those chords, the piano, and who built the piano, where it came from, the wood it's made out of, the all the time that the piano player invested learning how to play the piano, trained to play the piano, composing that song. So I'm conscious that I create every song in the universe. That's what God is. And it's the most beautiful thing. So I spent what in human time would be maybe 15 to 30 minutes, but in in reality, outside of human time, I spend an eternity just exploring myself, dying to myself, to my God self, during this awakening. It was so radical that no words can tell you how profound it was. So that happened. But now you have a bunch of objections and criticisms of what I just said. First of all, it's contradictory from your point of view, because you're saying, well, Leo, you're saying all this, but here I am, Leo, I'm over here, I have my experiences, and you're over there saying that you're alone, and so you're wrong. That's how it seems to you. In this video, I'm not going to clear up all your confusions. You're going to be confused by the things I say here. I'm telling you things that might take you 20 years to understand. You're also going to object that I'm deluding myself into thinking that I've reached some highest level of awakening, higher than other teachers and so forth. I'm not. But again, you're not going to understand that. You're going to criticize me and object on the basis that I'm trying to be better than others. I'm trying to, like, out-spiritualize, out-woke others. I'm not. But you're not going to understand that. You're going to argue with me that you've reached the level of awakening that I'm talking about and that you know what awakening is. You're not awake. I can tell you that with absolute certainty. You're not awake. And none of your teachers are awake. Buddhism will not awaken you. Meditation will not awaken you. Yoga will not awaken you. Kundalini activation will not awaken you. Shamanic breathing will not awaken you. Contemplation will not awaken you. Shaktipat, rasa, this will not awaken you. And none of the people who teach these things are actually awake. And that will become completely clear to you when you awaken, for real. But you haven't awoken. And those of you who think, no, Leo, but I've awoken, I know what you're talking about. No, you don't. You have not awoken. You don't know what you're talking about. Nobody who's participating on my forum is awake. You're engaged in levels of imagination and self-deception that you do not comprehend. Reaching different jhanas, concentrative states, cessations, nothingness, none of this is awakening. It's all imaginary. You're imagining all of that. All of your meditative achievements, whatever achievements you've had, none of that is awakening. You don't understand that you're God. Now, even though I tell you that, some of you will say, no, Leo, I understand. No, you don't. There are many degrees of understanding it, and you do not understand the highest degree. Of course, there's no way I can prove any of this to you. You have no idea whether I'm lying to you or not, or whether I'm fooling myself, or whether I'm just trying to start a cult here or whatever. or I'm just, engaged in spiritual egotism. You have no idea. From your point of view, all that could be true, but it's not. I'm simply telling you, you're not awake. You haven't reached the highest levels of awakening, not even close. You can't even understand how far away you are. Awakening is not about shutting down your mind. It is not about ending suffering. It has nothing to do with suffering or pain. It has nothing to do with how long you can sit and meditate. It has nothing to do with attaining any meditative state whatsoever. It has nothing to do with following a guru or any religion or tradition. It's even not non-duality. You think non-duality is awakening, it's not. Awakening is realizing yourself to be God and being completely conscious of how you are imagining absolutely everything around you. You have to actually be conscious of how you're doing it. And you're not conscious of that. You're not conscious, for example, that all of your spiritual work and studying, reading, following teachers, that all of that is imaginary. You're not conscious of that. You're not conscious, for example, that let's say you achieved some cessations in your meditation practice. You're not conscious that you just imagined that. There are no cessations. There was no meditative practice. You imagined it. You're not conscious that you imagined all of your spiritual role models. Jesus, Buddha, Sadhguru, whoever you look up to. You're not conscious that you're imagining all these. And of course, you're definitely not conscious that you're imagining me telling you all this. So anyways, there's a lot I could say about this, but I'm not going to go into that here. I'm just giving you a little bit of I wanted this to be sort of a raw first-person account. I didn't frame it from your point of view. I framed it from my point of view. So be cognizant of that and be careful here. Because you're going to say, well, Leo, you're saying you're the only one, but then here I am, I'm the only one. No, actually what I'm telling you is that I'm telling you you're the only one. But in this case, you have to understand that I'm speaking relativistically. I'm talking about my first-person experience of awakening. And awakening can only be a first-person experience. You might say, Leo, but it's so narcissistic to say that you're the only awakened person in the universe. Yeah, that's what real awakening is. Real awakening is when you realize you're the only awakened entity in the universe. You're the only and you're the most. The only and the most. It doesn't matter how it comes off. It doesn't matter how it sounds. It doesn't matter that this stuff sounds narcissistic or whatever. That's completely irrelevant. It's not about that. It's just about what's true.